Throughout history, tales of knights, valor, and magical swords have captured our imagination. And when we hear the phrase sword in the stone, our minds naturally drift to the legendary King Arthur, destined to become the king of all Britain. But what if I told you that there's another sword rooted in stone, thousands of miles away from the Arthurian legends, with a story just as captivating? Welcome to the Montesiepi Chapel, a serene, unassuming place of worship nestled near the town of Trustino in the picturesque province of Siena, Italy. It holds a mystery that has both baffled and inspired for centuries. This is the real sword in the stone. Our story begins with Saint Galgano Guidotti. Galgano was basically the medieval version of a rock star, but without the guitar and with much more armor. Born in 1148 to a noble family, Galgano led a life that was by all accounts the polar opposite of saintly. He was known for his violent outbursts and indulgent behavior, relishing his status as a knight and the privileges that came with it. Yet life has a way of being unpredictable, and Galgano's path took a turn that nobody saw coming. As the tale goes, one day after a series of visions and mystical experiences, Galgano felt a profound spiritual awakening. One particularly impactful vision was of the Archangel Michael, who called him towards a life of piety. Whether it was divine intervention or personal epiphany, Galgano decided it was time to leave behind his life of violence and excess. And to symbolize this transformation, in a field in Montesiepi, Galgano did something extraordinary. He thrust his sword into a stone, embedding it deeply as a representation of peace and renouncement of his former life. Basically, think of it as the medieval equivalent of deleting your wild college photos from Facebook. Either way, it's a big deal. The Montesiepi Chapel was constructed around this legendary sword to protect and venerate it. To this day, visitors to the chapel can witness the sword still stuck in the stone, protruding from the ground with the hilt exposed, standing as a testament to a knight's transformation. Now, you might be thinking it's just a legend, right? A tale as tall as any. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. In the 21st century, scientists and researchers, driven by curiosity, decided to study the sword. Using modern techniques, they determined that the sword does indeed date back to the 12th century, lining up perfectly with the timeline of Saint Galgano's life. Additionally, the manner in which the sword is embedded into the rock is not typical of a hoax. It isn't merely thrust into the ground. It penetrated the rock to a depth that would be exceptionally challenging to achieve without modern machinery, especially considering the age of the artifact. But the sword isn't the only mysterious element of this tale. Beneath it, researchers discovered the remains of what seemed to be a man, probably Saint Galgano himself, adding another layer of credibility to the story of Saint Galgano and his miraculous transformation. The story of Saint Galgano and the sword in the stone serves as a powerful metaphor for change and redemption. A man once driven by earthly desires and violence chose to renounce his past, turning his back on the world he knew. The sword plunged into the stone serves as a timeless reminder that it's never too late to change, to seek a higher purpose, and to find peace. In an era where tales of knights and chivalry often glorifies battles, conquests, and feats of strength, the legend of Saint Galgano stands apart. It's a tale not of a knight's prowess in battle, but of his strength of character, his ability to transform, and his commitment to a life of peace and spirituality. So the next time someone mentions the sword in the stone, remember, there's more than one tale tied to this phrase, and while King Arthur's story is undoubtedly magical and iconic, the story of Saint Galgano and the sword in the chapel is a testament to the very real magic of human transformation. Of course, thank you so much for joining me on this journey through history and legend. Remember, sometimes the best stories aren't about epic quests, but about that one time a knight couldn't pull his sword out of a rock. So until we meet in another tantalizing tale of history, mystery with a touch of comedy, stay curious, everybody.